I'm Mike Dutra, and this is our Blackstone Valley. First thing we're going to be covering tonight is the normalization of racism and online harassment. Something I wanted to cover quickly, it's a very old saying. When the debate is lost, slander becomes the tool of the loser. Let me say it again. When the debate is lost, slander becomes the tool of the loser. Socrates said that some time ago. Getting to more current events, Roseanne Barr having her show taken off the air and many people losing their jobs, ultimately because someone said some terrifically racist things on Twitter, the same place where other people, like our current president, are doing what some might think are ridiculous things in social media. She was fired because of what she said on Twitter. And there's a little bit of blowback. A small percentage of a very vocal minority are saying it's a violation of her First Amendment rights. These same people who are mad about Roseanne's free speech being violated because she got fired for being blatantly racist were just celebrating the NFL forbidding players from silently and peacefully protesting during the national anthem. Again, Roseanne, what she said was inexcusable. Her coming forward and saying it's because of the Ambien she was taking, and then the Ambien drug maker, someone coming forward and saying Ambien can make you racist, as in to blame anything but yourself for the awful things you say. One thing I can tell you is there are things in my life I wish I could take back saying. I can't imagine what must be going through Roseanne's mind personally, but it's inexcusable. It's racism. It's time to be honest about the things we say, whether it's into a microphone, on social media, or anywhere in the world, in a parking lot amongst people that you consider close confidants. Anything racist is racist, and nothing less. Roseanne blew it, just like President Trump. This was not a joke. This was not in bad taste. This was racism. She wasn't misunderstood or misquoted, and now she is paying the price. Moreover, this isn't silencing a conservative or a First Amendment issue. She is free to say what she said, and we in turn are free to call her out for saying it. And her employer is free to fire her for saying it, which they did, and kudos to you, Disney, ABC, everyone involved, for taking a moment and reflecting to understand where you are in history. This is the same woman who made Jew cookies in Hitler garb and took a picture and posted it online. And this is the same person that, if you're old enough to remember, sang our national anthem like no one else could, in such horrific disrespect of where she was in that time. Thank goodness for Valerie Jarrett being exactly the person to come forward to respond and take the high road after the terrible things I will not say on air that Roseanne said to get herself fired. Valerie took a moment to thank her family and friends for coming forward and supporting her during that time. Which brings me to something personal I want to share with all of you right now. It was quite an ordeal to get the first show on the air, and I experienced quite a bit of online harassment from a number of different sources, some internet trolls, things like that. And I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you so much to my family and friends and the people that I love for all that you did during that time. You know, everything happens for a reason, especially the stuff we don't like. And I, for one, I'm just grateful for all the people that love me and stepped forward and told me that they were here for me during, you know, the terrible, awful things that were said about me, about people I love, about my family. I just want to say again, thank you to all of you who stepped forward to say, you know, what, this is terrible. What is everyone doing? Thank you. But getting back to how this relates to President Trump, any real conservative should call President Trump out for how he's using racism and patriotism to hold power. The generals involved in his staff, the high-ranking officials from the amazing organizations like the FBI and the CIA need to take a moment and say publicly how they feel. It's not anti-American, to be honest. President Trump is the same person who got into the spotlight by lying about former President Obama and where he was born, saying he was born in Africa. If there was ever a moment where we could go back and originate where the dog whistle racism that plagues our country exists and began from, I, for one, believe it might be that moment. President Trump ran on a ban of a religious group of people, that being Muslims. He called deadly white supremacist attacks in Charlottesville, as good people on both sides. Let me say that again. He called deadly white supremacist attacks in Charlottesville good people on both sides. We know what Roseanne Barr and President Trump think. They are exhibiting racist behavior. And it's time for us to talk about it. I, for one, think we can aim higher than just tolerance. Tolerance means like, okay, fine, be there. But don't talk to me. And definitely don't date my sister. There is not a religion in the world that says, I have asked you to tolerate thy neighbor. Let's try for something a little more than tolerance. Let's try for acceptance, and then respect, and then friendship, and then hopefully someday love. My name is Mike Dutra. This is our Blackstone Valley. We'll be right back.